Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Super Deluxe Gamescast. It's Thursday, December 14th. We're almost into 2024. We are getting closer to the end of the year. Is this our last podcast for the year, Derek?
I don't think so. What's next week?
Oh, never mind. We got next week too. I keep thinking
presumably have next week. Yeah.
Yeah. We got to start talking about our Game of the Year podcast.
We got to figure out a plan on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
How we're going to do it.
But glad to see everybody in chat. Glad you're all here. Derek, your hair is looking very stylish.
Yeah. It's hair.
It looks very good. It looks very good. I am now wearing glasses. I think they look pretty good.
Yeah, you picked a good set for your face shape.
Yeah, good rectangular shape.
I agree. I think they look pretty good. And that voice you're hearing, Sam, fresh off of our annual live stream together of the Game Awards. Sam is here. Sam Tolbert from Windows Central. At this point, unofficial podcast member.
Unofficial Kramer is what I sort of like.
Yeah, that works.
Six man of the year, Sam Tolbert, coming off the bench. Coming off the bench.
We finally got to meet in person at the Final Fantasy 16 launch
party. We did. Took long enough. I'll say this. It really took long. I mean, pandemic kind of threw a monkey wrench into plans there, but that was really cool.
You might be at PAX East next year, right? You might be in Boston.
I'm trying. I'm not counting on it. I'm trying, but
you have to commit on air. Sorry. You have to commit on air. John's like trying to trap you like that. What an asshole.
But no, so we've got quite a bit to talk about tonight. Of course, we're going to open up with what we've been playing. We are going to talk about our thoughts on the quote unquote award show,
the Game Oscars
that we watched last week, and we're going to talk about. But you know what? To give credit where credit is due, there were some pretty interesting and cool reveals at the Game Awards. There was literally, actually, like to be totally fair to the Game Awards, there was something there for everyone.
Oh yeah,
except award winners.
Yeah,
right.
And future class
minorities or
yeah. Hey, are you an up and coming minority that we highlighted as being a part of the future of this industry? We put you behind a fucking camera, Jim.
Like that.
I still can't get over that. Mr. Delby in chat, wrap it up, please. So we are going to get into all that. We will go ahead and kick it off with what we've been playing. I'll go first because I'm going to be quick. I'm replaying Final Fantasy 16.
Big my third surprise!
It's tied.
After they dropped that DLC.
What's that?
Said after they dropped that DLC, of course they got you into it.
You fucking left during the fucking stream to go down. No shit, you're playing it.
I'm playing through the whole game again and then I want to get the whole game experience again and then get into the DLC at the end.
Okay, so to be clear, you have not played the DLC yet, then?
John?
No. Okay, all right.
No, I'm playing the whole game.
As old.
Okay.
What's that?
What? Stolen Valor as always, not playing the DLC.
Jesus, I thought you said asshole. I'm like, wow.
Not yet.
I was like, this escalated quickly. Oh no, trust me, Dorian. We're gonna get into mana. We are gonna get into mana. But yeah, no, that's what I literally want to play right now. Is Final Fantasy 16 for the third time this year, and it came out in June. Just want to point that out. Who wants to go next?
I can go real quick.
Yeah, Derek, please.
So. Take a break from eating dinner way too late. I'm sorry, folks. I'm trying to do it off camera. So I've mostly been playing over the last week Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince.
Such a good game.
So
getting it?
I did. I thought I was going to wait for inevitable PC port because
I knew you weren't going to fucking wait.
Actually, here's the thing. I originally was going to wait, and the thing that tipped me, weirdly, well, not weirdly, is finding out that in Japan the game is officially just Dragon Quest Monsters 3, which is a huge deal because 1 and 2 are a huge part of my childhood. I actually played way more Dragon Quest Monsters 1 and 2 than I played Pokemon on the Game Boy. So, and like, I've liked, the newer games, but the fact that they were like, this is 3, motherfuckers, it was like, all right, you've got me. I'm also a huge Dragon Quest 4 fan, so the idea that it's a very explicitly Dragon Quest 4 prequel that sets up a lot of that game is very cool. It's good. It is like rough, right? Like you can tell that this game does not run well at all.
I don't think it runs bad.
It runs bad in docked mode. It's very stuttery and juddery.
In handheld mode, it runs.
In handheld mode, it's smooth, but it's like Vaseline, right? In terms of resolution. I mean, just technically, it's kind of rough, and it shouldn't be.
That's funny because and obviously probably Twitch compression. Like I was watching John play. I got it. Just haven't played it yet because I've been busy.
Yeah.
But like it looks worse than Treasures, but I assume it's because the scale and scope is a little bit like.
Yes, and I will say that
I don't think it looks worse than Treasures.
It does, but the game is a joy to play. I love the like leveling up and raising mechanics. I love the synthesis. I like the core like loop of the game of like finding a new area. You got to go in and beat up the new boss baddie. That makes it easier for you to scout the monsters that live in that area. They provide like a checklist so you can even see like which monsters, here's like 3 you haven't encountered yet. They're just question marks. So you know when you're done, if you're like an obsessive type and can move on. And it's worth doing that because constantly getting at least new, like scouting new wild monsters of different, like drastically opens up your synthesis possibilities. It's probably not like going to be a huge, like if you're a Pokemon fan, I think Dragon Quest Monsters is really good. I think it'll be a good distraction in lieu of a new Pokemon game. I do not think it is the best monster collecting game on the Switch. That would probably
runs better than Scarlet and Violet. I'll tell you that much.
There's that. I still think if you're looking for the absolute peak of this genre, available on like most consoles, I'm gonna say it's Dragon Quest, or not Dragon Quest. It's fucking Monster Hunter Stories 2, which is just a much better RPG. But Dragon Quest Monsters is really good, and it's given me some good nostalgia, and I feel great. Dragon Quest they just need a composer because it's reusing the same MIDIs that have been getting used in every Dragon Quest spinoff and title like since forever, and it's like it's just fucking time. What's his name died? I don't remember. Yeah, Sugiyama. Sugiyama's been dead. Like we can hire somebody to come in and write some new tracks. And
you can also hire someone who doesn't excuse Japanese war crimes.
Right. We can orchestrate some new tracks, right? Like even just rearrangements of the old stuff. But it's literally reused completely, the soundtrack. I don't think there's a single new track I've encountered so far.
No, but it's literally all pulled right from the DS version of Dragon Quest 4.
I was gonna say it's all pulled from like Dragon Quest Builders and Dragon Quest 11 and stuff like that. But like It is budget as hell. You can tell that these folks had no fucking money to make this game, and yet the people making it like knew what they wanted to make and had love for the like Dragon Quest as a franchise and for the Dragon Quest Monsters games and made a really good monster like collector monster battling game that just doesn't run great, but is carried by its art style.
Eric. So this game is selling gangbusters in Japan because Dragon Quest Monsters is huge over there.
Yeah, it turns out you give it a big release, it'll fucking do well. Also, everyone I cannot stress how much the Dragon Quest fan base is in it for fucking Psaro. Psaro is a huge character for Dragon Quest, so making him the main character was smart.
For anybody who doesn't know, he's actually the villain in Dragon Quest 4.
Yeah.
So Square Enix actually already said that Dragon Quest Monsters will continue, and based on the reception that this is getting in Japan, I'm willing to bet that whatever comes next is going to get a slightly bigger budget.
I think so.
Wasn't Treasures supposed to be a Monsters game?
It started, and that's probably part of it, right? Is Dragon Quest Treasures was a Monsters game at some very early point, and it divulged from that in terms of direction. But they were like, we still need to get a Monsters game out because we really wanted to have one out for the anniversary. So I think that it put them kind of behind on time and on money. Despite that, I think it's a really good game. I do not think it's as anywhere nearly as held back by its technical issues as say Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is. When it eventually ends up on PC and PlayStation, like it's just gonna run great anyway. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Okay, CJ.
It's funny because I haven't been on in a while, and the things I do want to talk about at this point, I would much rather just save for the inevitable Game of the Year show. There's two very big things. I am very much looking forward to playing Dragon Quest Monsters. 100%. Like that's my Christmas like weekend like game.
Dude,
like I'll
you turning into a Dragon Quest fan has fucking revitalized me, man.
It's the best.
I love look the power.
You gotta play
Toriyama.
Dragon Quest Builders 2. You gotta play Builders 2.
CJ, tell Derek about the DM you sent me today.
Oh my god, because there's a great tweet. I forgot who tweeted it out, so I can't give him credit. But it's like, oh man, I wish I would have played the trajectory of my life would have been different if I would have played JRPGs when I was younger.
Jackson
what's
from Abnormal Mapping. Head falls off, right?
Yeah. So then it's like, if I would have played FF8 when I was 11, my life would be much better.
Yeah, because I played FF8 at 11, and it changed my fucking life. Jackson's right.
I DM John. I need you to find a way to travel back in time to make me play Dragon Quest 8 on PS2.
Yeah, it would have fixed you.
It probably would have, because the only one I played was like, I've only played Paper Mario and 1,000 Year Door. I was stupid. I didn't know that was an RPG.
So CJ, you absolutely need to play Dragon Quest 8. Dragon Quest 8 is fucking hard.
The problem is again, there's no way to play it on like a console. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like I don't have 3DS.
There are ways around this, CJ.
Like I said, eventually I will. Eventually I'm going to get like a nice retro, like one of those handheld emulators. You know what I'm saying? If any of those companies are watching the stream and would like to send, I will review it on stream. But like. That's like the plan, right? But for now, whatever. I gotta go finish 11. I'll wait till 12 is out. I have the first 3 on Switch.
Yeah.
That I want to get to. I know those versions are kind of weird.
They're just they're old. They're old and they're very simple. I think
they're pre Final Fantasy, right? At least the first one is, right?
The first one is.
So it's like yeah.
But it's like Final Fantasy 1 through 3. They're all simple. 4, 5, 6, the SNES era are so good. The mobile ports are actually really good.
So I hope they come to.
The DS ports of 4, 5, and 6 are the best in the franchise.
Those are the versions that are on mobile right now, and they're very
at some
good
point,
ports.
Look, if we got those Final Fantasy like ports to Switch, we'll get the Dragon Quest ones. I think Square is just like, they're a little hesitant because like Dragon Quest still isn't as like big as it should be here in the West. I'm hoping with stuff like Monsters. I'm hoping stuff like, I guess 12. I know it's going through some weird like development issue. I know, and then we're still waiting on that 3 remake. So I'm like,
you're absolutely gonna see more of that this in 2020.
Oh, I hope that's
something's up with that game. Is all I'll say.
I hope, man. Anyway, so as far as what I've been playing, real quick, I'll spend this segment talking about 2 things. One, I'm playing Avatar's Frontiers of Pandora. I love it. This is fun. It's pure junk food. I'm in Pandora. All the sincerity, all the things I love about the writing and the characters of Avatar are not present in this game at all. It fundamentally misunderstands everything good and like human and like sincere about like what a James Cameron character should be, in favor of just like the occasional Marvel like esque joke. And like just the weird like Ubisoft style of like quest giving. Have you guys played like a Far Cry game?
Yeah,
where it's just
or like, anything Ubisoft's ever made, right?
Right. That's why I'm excited for Star Wars Outlaws, because I'm like, oh wait, there's an actual narrative there. Like they're actually giving you a character and a narrative. Well, no, I that one I have faith in. But like this is just like cool. It's the same reason why I love the modern Assassin's Creed games. It's a virtual like museum of sorts, except it's for a place that doesn't exist that I've seen twice in a movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The big thing about Avatar 2, I remember like in theaters watching, it's just one of those things where like, oh, this doesn't exist at all. Nothing is like real on screen. You know what I'm saying? Like they're on. That's all digital.
CJ discovered movies.
Yeah, I know. The train came at me. And I ducked.
Ran screaming from the theater.
No, but it's like one of those things where it's just like, it's all digital in a way that like looks real. Like, like everything feels intentional. And the game kind of like nails that in a way that I don't think I've seen before. Look, I've seen New York various times. Spider-Man has no effect on me because I've been to New York.
Right.
Even like, and I'll talk about this later, but it's like, like real places. Like I can see that this is like something like I know it's real in a way that I've seen, but it's fully realized in like a really meaningful way, and I really appreciated that. The second thing I want to talk about, it's not a game that's out yet, but since we didn't have a proper show during its announcement, I gotta bring it up. GTA 6 looks incredible. Oh my god!
What little we've seen.
Oh my god! No,
looks like GTA to me.
Look, 100% 305 till
John,
I die.
do you understand how well that captured fucking Florida?
I was gonna say, like, say whatever you want about that.
I have driven past certain, like, I've recognized like streets I've driven, getting to work when I used to work in Miami Beach. The skyline at South Beach, it's so accurate. You guys do not understand how emotional I got. They put Flanagan's in the fucking game. Flanagan's is like local South Florida chain. It's in there. They got it. Like, oh my!
This is me at the end of season 1 of BoJack Horseman when Secretariat jumps off the fucking bridge that connects Louisville and Clarksville.
It's insane. Like the detail in this trailer. Of course, we'll see what the full game is like, but it's like one of like the best versions of Miami in a video game. It's like Need for Speed Heat almost gets it. They have Bayside, they have the Kaseya Center, they have approximations of like Wynwood and stuff, but it's still not close. The Crew 2 is gross.
CJ, do we know what it's called in GTA? Because I know it's not
Vice City.
It's Vice City.
Is it Vice City? Okay.
It's Vice City. Oh, I forgot what the state's called.
The state
like,
Leonida. Yep.
Okay. Oh, that is
but
such
it's Florida
a good,
and it's Miami.
Such a good name. That is such
Leonida.
Leonida. So it's like Juan Ponce de Leon, because Florida is named after a sailor. Oh my god!
No, it's brilliant.
Good. It's a good touch.
Oh my god!
Worth pointing out, first female protagonist in a GTA game.
In a like reasonably modern GTA game.
Yeah,
the first game had, but
no offense, but no one cares about
in a modern
GTA
game.
No one's played the original GTA games. Anyway,
like
nobody played a
nobody
GTA before
about
3.
original
So
GTA games.
Anyway, like it's just one of those things where it's like, yes, it's another GTA game. Yeah, we're not getting this till 2025, if that.
It's okay. My most excited game is 2025 too. So I can't.
It's like one of those things. It's one of those things. No, like Derek, this is not. I'm willing to bet this won't come out in 2025.
We'll see.
Or at least
they've been working on this motherfucker a long time.
I think it will. I think when in 2025, that's a different discussion.
We saw leaked footage of this game like 2 years ago, didn't we? I mean,
it'll come out in fall.
And then the PC port in 2027.
September sounds good, is what I'll say. September sounds good.
It's insane that like again like something captures like Miami and like this like again that feels everyone like knows what it is. My cousins are texting me like, oh my god, like they got this. The fucking Kaseya Center is there. Do you know how much fucking lunacy I'm gonna get into after the Heat lose in real life? I'm gonna crash so many planes in that building out of pure anger.
See, like, this is the kind of shit that I liked. Like I'll be totally honest with you. Like I could care less about GTA, but knowing that, that something like this is so special to a friend of mine that I deeply care about, that's the kind of shit that I like to hear. Like this right here is what video games are all about.
It's just such a fun. It's just I don't know.
DJ, I am legit happy for you.
I love Miami, as you can see.
I need to come visit you.
Yeah.
Did we lose CJ?
We lost
him.
Oh,
he's lost in the sauce.
He's so happy that he ascended to the astral plane.
I'm very happy it froze on that frame.
Yeah,
I'm very happy.
I know, me too. Sam, go ahead.
I will say, if I can briefly,
yes, please.
Just because CJ brought this up, and this is a rare opportunity to plug other like little guys. He brought up seeing a tweet from Jackson at Abnormal Mapping, and for folks in our chat who are not familiar, I do highly recommend Abnormal Mapping.
Not familiar with them.
They're little guys. They're like way fucking bigger than us. But they are like relative little guys. Jackson and M are both like excellent. It's very insightful games criticism. Even when I disagree with them about something, which happens a decent amount, I find their opinions at the very least fascinating to read. If you've been moved by me talking about how like art criticism is the sort of thing where you should be able to enjoy the process of picking something apart, even if you like the parts you like and don't like about something that you love, that's very much like what Abnormal Mapping's all about. So check them out. CJ will come back to us at some point.
He'll come back.
He'll come back.
Sam, by the way, folks, I'm gonna go get a beer while Sam is talking. So
he doesn't want to hear
it's because I don't.
Thing I
it's
have
because
to say.
I don't love you, Sam.
That's right. That's right. John, you're stuck here. Yeah, so I've been playing a couple. I've been playing a couple of different games. One of them I've actually been working on for review, but just it's an absolutely massive game, so I have not been able to get this out yet. Should be out this weekend. Hopefully, we'll see. But that's Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader, and it is a turn.
I knew more about Warhammer, dude. Like I could never get into it.
It's a lot. So as like a massive lost in the sauce Warhammer guy, it is a lot. It is not something to easily wrap your head around. The best thing to do is just find something that looks interesting and sort of just use that as an attack point and break in. Don't try and understand and digest the whole thing because you can't. But anyway, so Rogue Trader is very cool because it's a turn-based RPG. So everyone who liked Baldur's Gate, like this is that. It's that with a lower budget, basically. And something it does really well that I've been enjoying a lot is it captures the writing in a particularly insightful way where the right, it's easy to just dismiss Warhammer as grimdark, and a lot of like the surface level stuff doesn't do that justice. It's just like very, oh yeah, everything sucks. But it's not about that. It's about how people are dehumanized in a particular way and how you're made cogs of a particular machine. And that is something that Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader does really well, while still giving you a lot of options for playing like in a role-playing capacity. So I'm really enjoying that. It's a very long, very large game. If you're looking for another turn-based RPG to play, definitely recommend it. Definitely recommend that. The other thing I have been diving into that I'm not done yet with is the new Valhalla DLC for God of War Ragnarok.
Yes.
I put
really
a few hours.
Think about this actually.
So yes, here's the thing. I want to praise the developers and writers of this, and I want to criticize the marketing folks. They did not sell this well at all. What they sold at the Game Awards with the trailer was like a roguelike mode. They that's what they sold. Yeah. It's like, oh, this is what we had in the first game in Niflheim, just now it's in Valhalla. That's not what this is. Folks, this is this is a story epilogue.
Oh shit, so I gotta get in this shit.
This is the missing. I loved God of War Ragnarok. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 9 out of 10 in my review. This is the missing final act for Ragnarok that like actually completes the story and is diving in. And it's like, yes, there's roguelike elements of you know, you're going to die, you're going to get reset. You have to go back in, your powers get reset. So you have to build yourself back up and get stronger. There's that good roguelike stuff, but that is not the focus. The focus is the story and certain characters who I won't spoil, that I'll tease that it's characters I wish had gotten more time in the main game, getting time here and picking at Kratos' brain going, why are you the way you are? What is in your past? Have you actually accepted what was in your past? Have you considered all these other possibilities? Like, let's actually dive into the meat of that and tear your psychology apart. And I love it. It is absolutely, like, I'm not done yet, but unless it dives off a cliff, this is one of the best free DLCs of all time. They could have charged $10-15 for this, and I would say it was well worth it.
You're actually, you're echoing sentiments I have heard from numerous people.
Yeah, no, it's excellent. It is absolutely excellent. The fact that it's free is just like, yeah, if you have God of War Ragnarok, I don't know what you're doing. Go play it. I don't want to spoil too much. I don't want to give... The only teaser I'll sort of give is if, like me, you were disappointed about a particular character being relegated to a post-campaign cameo, play this. You're going to be very happy about some things.
I know which character you're talking about.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's excellent. An excellent way to end the year. Kudos to Sony Santa Monica and one of their writers. I can't remember which one, so I apologize deeply, but one of their writers teasing today that this is not the end of the story has my brain scrambled. And R3 plus L3. That's the last thing I'll say. R3 plus L3.
It's always just
all right. So we lost CJ. Hopefully he'll be back. He's trying to fix his internet. In the meantime, before we get into our big topics, there's just a couple of little news items I want to cross off the list, and we'll go quickly here. The Last of Us 2 multiplayer canceled earlier today. I don't think anybody's really surprised here.
I think we knew that was coming. I think it's a smart move because, as they pointed out, like if they even ever released it, they would just have to put their whole fucking studio behind constantly updating that one game forever, and it would stop them from getting to make multiple single player games with the same resources. So why would they not stick with the thing that built the studio?
The only thing I'll add on to this that hasn't been said, and we can move on, is I think it raises some important questions for the other teams, considering PlayStation is really all in on this live service push right now. If I'm Insomniac, if I'm Guerrilla Games, I would be asking a lot of hard questions right now about what needs to happen.
Mm-hmm. It turns out you can't turn all of your studios into the direction of throwing all their money into money pits. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Just a couple of quick news items, guys. Creative Business Unit 3 has not fucking disbanded. Calm down. That's got to be one of the worst.
Game Rant, and Game Rant alone, misinterpreted an interview and claimed that CBU3 was shut down, and no, it wasn't.
And everybody lost their mind for a minute.
I don't think many people believed it, because by the time we found it, like, we were already debunking it, like, in the replies, but regardless.
Yeah, come on, guys. We've got some breaking Nintendo news.
Every Thursday.
Every Thursday. The demo for Another Code Recollection is now available for download.
Ooh.
So Derek, I figured that's something you'd be interested in.
You have my attention.
That you can download that right now.
I'm not going to, but I will when we're done.
Not right now, Derek.
That'd be a very John move
wanted to, like I did with the Final Fantasy 16 DLC, you could literally go leave the podcast and download it.
That's what CJ did.
I think that's all of the small kind of news items that we wanted to get out of the way real quick. Let's go ahead and move on to the Game Awards.
Let's talk about the motherfucking gamer Oscars that Sam joined us for last week. A 3.5 hour long monster of a presentation. There's my fucking boy, CJ.
Maybe. Is he here?
Yeah.
Is he here?
Yeah.
CJ,
we've never been more fucking back.
Yeah, we just started the Game Awards to talk. Like, we literally.
Oh shit, my internet's going out.
So I'll tell you what. Let's focus on the positives first.
Let's start with the fun stuff, right? And we can get into the discourse after we talked about, because there were a lot of very fun reveals.
No, taking this as the entertainment value, I would argue this was probably the best ever. To give credit where credit is due.
Came at the cost of everything that it should stand for.
Right.
But
no, definitely. Yeah. But
may I go first?
Yes.
We have to just let me get this out of the way. Motherfucking Monster Hunter. Knowing that it was going in did not change a goddamn thing for me.
I was wondering though, Derek, but like by the end I was
starting to get worried. But the thing is, Monster Hunter World is such a big fucking game. Like, first off, it's Capcom's biggest game ever. There are people this is a well remarked on thing that like Monster Hunter World was played by people who only play like COD, right? Like, it was big. Monster Hunter World like brought that franchise back, and probably is really the thing that brought Capcom back. Because I think that's the release that started the turnaround for Capcom.
The Resident Evil game. Resident Evil 7 was the year before.
Resident Evil 7 was the year before. But that's the thing. Monster Hunter World, along with Resident Evil 7, that's a 1-2 punch that really brought Capcom back from the brink. Monster Hunter Wilds, there's so little in that teaser, and it's so far away. 2025. I'm betting early 2025, but like the fact that we're not going to hear anything until summer.
For the next summer, you're going to get like a big blowout.
We will.
They've said that. Yeah.
That's what they said, and it's because they want Dragon's Dogma to have like a fucking chance. They're different games, but people are going to see big, open, Western like fantasy RPG, and they're going to compare them. You shouldn't, but
I have to ask. Did they release this, or did they announce this a little too early?
No. I think it's fine because it's been so long since Monster Hunter.
People have been worried, and people know like that this game is coming. So I think Capcom wanted to get people's expectations set, right? Because every time that this game didn't show up at like anywhere, people were getting worried. So this lets them say, hey, here it is real. Argue about a title screen for a few months. We'll be back in the summer. It's out in a year and a half, you know? So
Derek, what were we able to glean from that trailer? Like, I know that it was short. There wasn't a ton of information there. You're not riding a Palamute. You're
Yeah.
riding some kind of
They
dinosaur
are
creature.
so first off, we know that it is straight up a successor, a sequel to World. Maybe not a story sequel to World, but like story's not really the strong point in Monster Hunter games. But we see like the Scout Flies, we see the Slinger, like we know this is a World successor. We can see that they are not even doubling, tripling down on trying to build a breathing ecosystem. So this is not going in the arcadey, high-flying, like zippy, like wirebug combat of Rise, trying to be like an anime action game. They're really pushing for the very like naturalist, there's these huge, what's the word? Like herds of monsters on screen, way bigger than anything we saw in World. They do move in herds. There's like the weather systems and interaction. The ending thing right where the title happens to tease that like weather and seasonal changes are going to be a big part of this in real time. And we saw
Is this an open world game, Derek?
I am going to bet that this is not a truly open world game, but I
disagree with you.
I think that they're going to be much, much larger zones than before.
Yeah.
So I think that your desert zone, your forest zone, your ice, like all those are just going to be much bigger areas, because Hoarfrost Reach, which was the area that they added in Iceborne, was way bigger than anything else in World. And that to me is like everything in Iceborne and everything they did in all of the like post-launch updates, to me, is them signaling the stuff they're experimenting with for the future. So
I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
I think that this is...
I mean, also, like, Imran doesn't think that it is, and I tend to take his word at relative value, but...
I think that this is Monster Hunter's genuine foray into a real open world. And I'm going to throw out just like a little stupid conspiracy theory here, but the word wilds, to me, signifies something that is open, signifies something that is wild and highly explorable, much like
they're going to want to capture that feeling for sure, and that's why they're focusing on
Breath of the Wild is what turns Zelda into a huge open world.
And here's my counter.
I'm not saying the two are connected, obviously, but that I'm at the point where that word wild brings connotations of a vast explorable space to me. If that makes sense.
I'm gonna be. You know what? I probably won't be open world because I think that since Monster Hunter's whole thing is multiplayer, I think they want to try to keep it as focused as possible. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's again, a lot of Japanese devs are like, they have some really weird, unconventional ways to like do like big multiplayer stuff. With the exception of like, I never played World, but I assume that one is like literally built to like be played with like other people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, every Monster Hunter game is.
But yeah.
But like, so I doubt they're gonna do a massive open world. You know what I'm saying? Just for like balance and things like that. I doubt they can, right?
I just think that the regions are going to be bigger, right? They're going to be geographically much bigger, much more like they're going to build bigger ecosystems this time. Like, because Wild is there for a reason, right? They're building these living, breathing, interactive ecosystems with herds of animals that interact with each other in unusual ways, and the way weather changes things, and like they're gonna really, really focus on the stuff that World tried to feel like, which is like stepping out of camp and into, a breathing ecosystem. I mean, granted, like, we've seen fucking nothing. But also, I did threaten, if Lagia Cruz doesn't come back in this game, then I'm gonna drink 3 of the fucking Panera charged lemonades and get on an airplane and make it somebody else's problem.
Are those the lemonades that like literally will fucking kill you?
Yeah, so
the FDA cites
the
caffeine, or
the FDA cites the like daily tolerance of caffeine for an adult human to be 400 milligrams, and one large Panera charged lemonade has 390 milligrams. So they went for the limit, and then they went down 10 milligrams. So
how is that even?
Because it's not past the max, and if somebody wants to drink 3, it's their problem.
I mean, it's but yeah, no. So I think obviously
I'm gonna be very abnormal about this fucking game, but we've seen very little.
We've seen very little of it.
I need that summer reveal.
that region we saw looked it was kind of an arid looking.
It was like
region.
a savanna, kind of.
Yeah. Derek, what in the so I'm not the Monster Hunter guru that you are. I did see like one of the things that stood out to me in that Monster Hunter trailer was there was a really cool design of a monster that had like lightning rods on its fucking back.
Yeah, that looked like it was like part of it was one of those herbivores, but there's like a few of them that have, and I don't know if they're meant to be like a herd leader or something, but they have like big spines that acted like a lightning rod during the storm.
We saw a Rathalos.
We did see a Rathalos briefly. We did see like a pack of bear-like creatures that seem to be inspired by a monster from Rise called Gosharag.
Gosharag. Yeah.
You know, it's but I mean,
what else
we don't
did you
know
see,
shit.
Derek? Like, did you see anything else that was vast and like recognizable?
No.
What
man.
do we think that thing he was riding was?
What's your new mount?
Like what's that?
It's gonna be something new, but it's the new mount. It's,
a chocobo.
No, I know it was a mount.
It's a
but it just
chocobo.
like looked like a dinosaur.
yeah, it's
chocobo.
clearly inspired by like, an Archaeopteryx, but
Here's my question. I've got the most important question so far. Are they going to be able to top the food cooking animations?
Yes.
From Monster Hunter World?
Of course. They have like 3% of the budget set aside just for the cooking animations.
Oh, here's the real question. What's the first outrageous collaboration they're gonna do?
So here's the thing.
Apex Legends.
No.
Oh my god.
I don't think
Fortnite.
they're gonna have. Now they may have like little event things where they get like armor that's inspired by like they.
That's
did with
what
the
I'm saying,
Horizon.
like,
Okay.
That's what
But they are
so
not-
Will the Chris Pratt Garfield be a Palico?
Yes.
Fucking you don't know.
Absolutely.
But I don't
Normal
think
Palico.
that we're going to see collaboration monsters.
cool.
Like in
Right.
World, we got, the Leshen from Witcher and we got Behemoth from Final Fantasy XIV. And I just don't think you're going to see any more of those.
You play as Ryu.
No,
You're gonna play as
no,
Ryu this
there's
time?
actually going to be a crossover with the MCU, and you're going to get Rocket as a mount in the game.
Ooh,
He's so
why? When do you need
little.
Palico? When do you need Palico?
No, he's
Yeah,
a
little.
raccoon.
When he beat.
We
when
didn't
he
see a
beat-
Palico in the trailer, man. I don't
I
know.
didn't
That's
see any
weird.
Calicos in the trailer.
I
Because
think
they're gonna-
we'll get a Palico.
They're gonna come back buff. They're gonna be like, "Fuck you! This is your grandpa's Monster Hunter." These are great.
Guys,
They've all been
Calicos
training
back.
with the
These
Meowscarada.
cats,
Palicos
these cats
are
are
back
sexy and they hit the gym. Yeah, and they fuck.
Palicos are here. And they
What?
We already had the Meowscular chef, all right? Nobody fucks like the
Visions
Meowscular
of
chef.
fucking mana, guys. I
Visions
What
of
is it? They gotta-
mana.
Oh, yeah.
Mwah.
Visions of mana. So we saw that this was.
I'm
this had been
proud that I
trademarked.
called out that it was mana before you did.
You did. No, you absolutely did. So all right. So here's the thing. When this was first, like when we first saw that trailer, I thought it was Fable. Because Jeff was like, oh, it's a world we haven't visited in a long time. The reason I didn't even pick up on mana was because this was the last place I would expect like a new mana game to be announced.
Much
right?
less, holy shit, a new mana game that has that much money behind it.
This motherfucker's got a
Whoa.
Oh my god!
budget.
It doesn't look like a budget like Square Enix
This
game
game
released in the
ate
middle of the year.
this game ate the budget of every other Square Enix release of the past 3 years not called Final Fantasy. Holy shit.
This game got a fucking budget, and it is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like even if you're not into Square Enix, even if you're not into the mana games or action RPGs, no one can deny that this is a beautiful fucking game.
Gorgeous
Oh,
game.
yeah.
And I could not be happier that we're getting a brand new. It has been 13 years since we've had a new entry in the Mana franchise. Remakes
Wow.
don't count. It has been 13 years. Dawn of Mana was I believe was the last, and that was on the PS2. There were a few Vita ports, but again, like the first actual no bullshit new entry in the franchise is Visions of Mana. And they've been tweeting about it. Like the Twitter account has been tweeting about some of the story. The main character's name is Val, and he is it's standard mana stuff. Like he's making a pilgrimage to the mana tree to protect his friend, who is some kind of been chosen by the fairy, which is a recurring element in the Mana franchise. I got to tell you, I am legitimately stunned at the budget this appears to have, because Mana is not like
insane.
Final Fantasy, right? Like it's a much smaller franchise for Square. It's a franchise that they generally have kind of kicked to the wayside. I mean, again, like, the last mainline title was 13 years ago.
Actually, John, I just looked it up. It wasn't 13 years ago. It was 17 years ago, bud.
17
God
years.
damn
Okay.
it, that
Wow.
hurts.
Yeah.
Even fucking longer. Was I right though? Was it Dawn of Mana?
It was Dawn of Mana, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
okay. So, all right. So yeah, I was like, I know it's Dawn of Mana.
No, definitely.
But that image of Val standing in front of the mana tree and that logo with the fucking gradient in the middle of it, just, the fact that in 2024 I am more excited about this than I am Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Because, we just got Final Fantasy VII Remake a couple years ago. We all know Rebirth's going to be awesome. Right? Like, I mean,
And
come
it's
on.
going to be
It's
in the middle child in what is hopefully a trilogy and not 4 or 5 games, but
right. But a new mana game after 17 years,
pretty crazy.
One that looks like it got a ton of money poured into it. That is the shit to get me excited.
That's pretty
That's
wacky,
the
dude.
shit that I am looking forward to next year. And CJ, mana games are traditionally multiplayer. So what I want to see from Square is like some drop in, drop out multiplayer.
Oh, that'd be sick. That'd be like a cool, like, again, if they did like a dungeon crawler style, like just come in and out.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Like, and I cannot, like, Derek, when was the moment you realized this was a mana game? Like, because I mean, you caught onto it very early.
I can't tell you like what specific moment it was, but it was like it was just the art style. Like, it clicked to me that I was looking at a mana game. Like, I don't know how to describe. And of course, then we saw the tree and it was obvious. But
yeah.
I had to see a person. I had to see a person's face, and like I realized I looked like I was looking at 2D like mana artwork, but made into 3D. It was just like, this is what this is, obviously. So
yeah, as soon as I saw the character running around, I was like, oh yeah, that's some mana ass shit right there. It's just very Square Enix, very mana. I could not fucking believe it. That
we
was
lost.
absolutely the high point of the Game Awards for me. That was absolutely the fucking. Did you guys lose me for a minute?
Just
for like a second. It's okay. We got what you're saying.
No, that was absolutely the high point of the Game Awards for me. Was Visions of Mana, by far. Nothing comes close. I could not be more fucking. God, I'm so happy. Shit. Like,
I'll tell you what, man. Like, Mana is not a franchise I really have any connection to, but that thing looks so good just on how it looks alone. If it has drop in, drop out co-op, I will gladly party up with you.
Oh my god! And again, me being like anything that looks like straight from the PS2, straight up, like that's Come on, like day one, 100%.
I mean,
CJ,
it looks way prettier than a PS2 game, but like...
That's what I'm saying. No, but I'm saying like it could exist. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like the concept of the game is like a gameplay like design philosophy that could have existed on PS2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With the cell shaded art
in
style.
That I mean like, a great way. Yeah.
Like with a good art style, I'm all in. You know what I'm saying? With what I hope is like the most streamlined, like, action RPG element. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like give me the most basic RPG like elements elevated by like the art style. I'm all in. It'll be a time sink, 100%.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say is just like you got this, you got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, like the first. I would assume that this is a spring game, Visions of Mana.
Did they say it was 2024?
Yeah, 2024. Okay. I don't think they're going to send this out in the fall.
I was thinking summer, but
spring, summer. That's a strong first half of the year for Square. And we don't know what else they have coming either. So yeah, I absolutely could not be. And I hope that this is a sign that other franchises, other classic Square franchises that have fallen along the wayside over the years will finally get the money and attention and the kind of revival that they deserve. I hope this is the beginning of that. Because I'd love to see something like Parasite Eve or Vagrant Story continued as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. That was my high point of the entire show.
Let's talk about fucking Sega coming back. Just
Sega,
slamming
fuck?
slamming their meat down on the table for everyone else to worship. Holy
I
shit.
was not expecting that.
So
I was not fucking expecting
that trailer started, I'm like, okay, it's probably gonna be another mobile thing. You
I
know
thought
what
it was
I'm
gonna
saying?
be like another like game,
I
like
thought it was gonna be
hardware.
Virtua Fighter.
Well, we were all joking it would be like a new like a Dreamcast Mini or a Dreamcast 2.
I would,
when in reality,
which I would have loved, CJ.
well,
Like,
100%. I would have sold my PS5, my Xbox, and my Switch to buy a new Dreamcast. What are you talking about? If they would have found some way to resurrect like the old the original NBA and NFL 2K games on the Sega Sports like label, straight up, you will not catch me doing it. I'll become a fucking Final Fantasy Online nerd. I'll play anything. If you, oh my god, like 100, fuck it, I'll play Shenmue. I don't care. I'll play like
I'll play this boring ass piece of shit.
I'll put myself through that.
I'll be forklift certified.
100%. But no, yeah, it was better. It's like, so they confirmed that they're working on new entries in the Jet Set Radio series, Shinobi, Golden Axe,
Crazy Taxi, Streets of Rage,
motherfucking Taxi.
Streets of Rage. So it's like all these old, like these staples in like different eras of Sega,
That was a
right?
3D Streets of Rage.
and trademarks for Kid Chameleon and
Alex Kidd, Kid Chameleon, Afterburner, Outrun,
Altered Beast,
Altered Beast
was a big
Monkey Ball.
Which, of course, Altered Beast and Eternal Champions are terrible fucking games, and nobody should play them.
Yeah, but it doesn't change the fact they could make something good now. Like. People
imagine like the sickest brawler, like God of War style brawler.
Look, they won't make a new Bloody Roar, so the furries have to eat somehow.
So there are other Sega games I'm hoping that they visit, like Phantasy Star. I don't mean the online game. I mean like the actual.
Right. I'm sure they will at some point, like that.
Phantasy Star's not dead though. Phantasy Star Online 2 has been a thing for like ages. I know that's not a new like we want like something new, but like.
Derek, what about Shining Force?
Shining Force is another one they can bring. But they can bring. I think Shining Force could be like the PS5 like fire up. You know what I'm saying?
Will say, I think they're focusing on titles that they can make smaller games with. Because like Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, those are not going to be like $70 AAA titles. They're looking for
Crazy Taxi for that matter.
Right. They're looking for franchises that they can make indie style releases out of. And I think that's brilliant because guess what? 100%. Not every old series needs to come back as a $70 AAA prestige game. Like,
no. Especially like the Dreamcast was interesting because of the console that gen. Oh hell yeah! But look, of that generation, the Dreamcast is basically a home arcade.
Yeah,
you're getting like in terms of like graphics and in like experiences, which sure might rub a lot of people the wrong way, but it's like no, you're getting like really good, pristine, like excellent arcade quality. That's kind of what I want. I want a new Jet Set Radio that's just Jet Set Radio, right?
Yeah.
I want a new Crazy Taxi that's just Crazy Taxi. Don't give me a story mode. Don't give me some weird like online. No, just give me Crazy Taxi. Outrun. Do you think Sega will be like crazy enough to go license out Ferrari again? You know how great that'll be. You know how great that'll. Oh my god! If they got the Ferrari license again, if they re-released what was the one from the PSP one, Coast to Coast and Outrun 2 from, or are they the same game?
So, I just know the original, man.
Here's one for you. I want them to do new Vector Man because if you've never played Vector Man, that shit
Vector Man was garbage.
Right?
Dude, are you serious?
Vector Man's not a good game if you go back and play
Vector Man is literally remembered as one of the greatest Sega platformers.
It's super memorable. It's not a good game.
Okay, how about this, you fucking
Knights.
Philistine? How about Nights into Dreams? A new one.
That seems more likely.
Hey, they could finally make a good one.
I never played the original. I never played the Wii port. But no, but it's like it's great. Derek. And we talked about right before recording. Sam brought up a good point. Like this probably means we're not going to get like a new Sonic for a while. I think Sonic
Sonic needs a fucking break anyway.
It needs a break. Look, Frontier's perfect way to cap off like what is arguably the greatest era for modern Sonic.
Let's not acknowledge Superstars.
We will because I reviewed it very positively. I reviewed it very positively. Go read my review. But it's like back to back two big Sonic games in two different styles, right? So we're good for now.
Comic Zone to be a good one, Dorian.
We had a re-release of the Monkey Ball game back in 2019. We had a really good, series of like remakes in 2021. So it's like I would much rather take the L. We're probably never gonna not get a Yakuza game or a Persona game, right? Like they're gonna come out like every other like month.
That's just different. Those studios, they're not going to tell the Yakuza studio to like, hey, can you stop and make us a comic
can
zone?
you imagine if they went back and they're like the Yakuza studio's like, all right, we're stopping production on Yakuza. We're just gonna make Monkey Ball games again.
They obviously made the mistake of telling the strategy studio to make an online shooter, and thank God that's been course corrected.
You know what? They told
right.
the strategy studio to make a survival horror game, and then they did make the best survival horror game ever made. So.
Yeah, you know what? Fair enough. I can't disagree. Still different than a service game, though. But.
That's true.
Anyway, like I'm excited. I'm excited that Sega's back making games.
Yep.
Right.
I still would like either a Dreamcast Mini or a Saturn Mini. Or
Not
like
even a mini. Just re-release those damn games, bro.
re-release fucking the Panzer Dragoon games. Like Jesus
Stop
Christ.
re-releasing Genesis games, Sega. We get it. We get it. We had we had a whole compilation on Switch. Then we had the online portion like added to this. We get it. The Genesis is cool. Sure, why not? If you didn't have a Super Nintendo, I guess. I would much rather see Saturn and Dreamcast games. Make a Game Gear.
The fact that the Panzer Dragoon games are not available for everyone to play is such a goddamn Greek tragedy.
It's weird.
I think isn't there a remake of the Panzer Dragoon though? I know it wasn't great, but it's like it's there.
No, they're not great, but no, dude. Everybody who likes RPGs needs to play Panzer Dragoon Saga. It's one of the fucking greats of all time.
Anyway,
but
Sega won the show from you. But there
are other Sega games locked on those Skies of Arcadia. Like, I mean, where the fuck is Skies of Arcadia?
They came in and they put their meat down on the table, and I do think that like the through line here is they found a way to bring back a bunch of their old franchises as indie style, like presumably $30-$40 releases, and I think that's very smart because it's I'm assuming they're contracting with a lot of little teams, but like good. Fucking do
great,
it.
and it's like we've had this resurgence and like wave of like indie imitators of like we have Bomber Cyberpunk, we had this really bad Crazy Taxi clone a couple years ago back. It's like okay, we'll
pay people
come
to make
back.
the real shit with supervision. Just do it.
100, yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like I hope all those trademarks, something comes out of them, right? Like I hope like what we get, even if the worst case scenario, it's all for like compilations or something. Yeah. Best case scenario, new games. You know what I'm saying?
I wish that like Capcom, Nintendo, and fucking Namco would do the same thing, right? Like, guys.
Namco, what they did they have like 50 Namco museums a year. And then
Namco got people working in the fucking mines, dude. Just
support Dig Dug. Just support Dig Dug to a new console. They're like, fuck, we're putting Dig Dug on another console, guys. Wake up.
No, dog, you don't get it. You're going on the fucking Nintendo subsidized support team. Like,
Mario Kart. There's a Mario Kart game coming. You better learn.
What else did we see announced at the Game Awards?
Fucking Blade.
Yes, that's exactly what I was about to say.
Blade by Arcane. We saw nothing, but like, I'm in. You've got
everything.
Sam, please tell us about Blade.
Yeah, so this is it's being done by Arcane Lyon, and for anyone who doesn't know, there's actually two Arcane studios. That's the French one that did Dishonored 2 and Deathloop. A lot of the same people, especially like a lot of the artists and a lot of the level designers who worked on those two games are working on this. And
I'm so glad they're getting another shot.
They've been working on that's another hold on. So they've been working on this for about a year, I think. So October 2022, which is when they released the Xbox version of Deathloop, because that was a PS5 timed exclusive and all that, because Max was having some financial troubles a couple of years ago. So it's still early in development, but evidently they came to Marvel with a pitch, and Marvel said like, hell yes, this is perfect. And they have said a couple of things. It is third person, which is a big departure for them.
Yes.
They've always done first person games before, and that's going to take some work. It's going to be interesting to see how their designers who have been working on all these first person games for literally decades now are going to be adjusting and making like third person, because the design is different. You have to
change your level design. You have to change your counter design.
There's some games like BGS does first and third person, but that's very hard to do. That's not easy to do.
Try playing Skyrim in third person mode. Like, it's dog shit. You know what I mean?
Use it for walking around. It's for walking around and taking screenshots. Exactly. So I'm very curious how that works, but I mean, I think it makes perfect sense. The game is set in Paris, and it's going to be like a quarantined, walled off section that is being infested with vampires that are coming out. So there's like mandatory curfews for people to go inside. Yeah, give me the Daywalker. Come on, just that's
time.
I don't know a lot, but that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
So there is one point of confusion that, like, is this or is this not Xbox exclusive?
Yeah.
Because
It's
It
going
is.
to be. It's going to be.
Xbox and PC, but like, yes.
Yes, but I mean,
This will
the
not be
reason
on
I asked is
PlayStation.
because, like, I think it was Arcane who was asked this. It was somebody involved in the game was asked, is this Xbox exclusive? And then they were like, talk to Bethesda.
So they're not announcing platforms right now because they don't know if this is going to be a cross-generation game or not.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not saying Series X and Series S and whatever because there maybe I don't know for sure, but there might be another console at that time that they.
See,
have
this is why I wish Spider-Man was multi-platform, because then you can make Blade multi-platform and literally build just like a shared fucking universe. There's
an interesting conversation to be had there because on the one hand, like a shared universe would absolutely be cool, especially because the naming convention is right there, right? Like Marvel's
It's
before
right there.
everything. So there is that. On the other hand, like I know teams like Arcane and especially Insomniac, they have dedicated workflow pipelines where they're very used to working on one set of tools. Insomniac was the first studio given the PS5 dev kit. Like Mark Cerny literally went to them and said, "Hey, how do we improve this?" They're the ones who were giving feedback on the SSD and all that. So there are advantages to like having things the way they are. I get it though. Like I think in an ideal world, all licensed stuff would be multi-plat, but that
Also,
isn't what it is. So
then all the
you know.
Marvel like licensed games would have to also be in the same universe as Midnight Suns, and none of them want to have to fucking be as cool as
That
Midnight
is a
Suns.
darn good point. Never mind. It's not
Midnight
it's not an
Suns
ideal
is
situation.
simply puts all the rest of this shit to shame. So
All right. Well, you're forgetting Lego Marvel superheroes, which is
so
which,
first
you know,
off,
yes. All right. You know that picture of like the guy kneeling in front of like the giant like
Yeah.
it's like Midnight Suns, Marvel Spider-Man, Blade, and then up it's like a Marvel superhero.
yeah. I do. God, I just wish we'd get Midnight Suns 2 fucking zombies, but no.
That's not going to happen.
It's
Derek.
not gonna happen. So.
All right, so which studio is going to be brave enough to make a Hulk game? Let's go. Let's get that. Let's go.
There actually was a really good Hulk game on PS2 called Ultimate Destruction.
Yeah, that's what.
That's the one everyone thinks of.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what?
The Eric Bana
Unironically,
movie one.
unironically,
Mhm.
let DICE, the Battlefield devs, let them just use their destruction tech and make a Hulk game. That
Oh
They-
no!
I would say
Sam,
Volition,
Sam.
but
Damn, you want some real big brain shit right here?
Hit me.
Let Black Era Criterion do this.
okay, I hear you.
Let them do that or a Punisher game. Let them do that. Like let's do like gun porn Punisher in
I want
first
a fucking
person.
Moon Knight game.
so I want to talk about stuff that did because we are tight on time here.
Yeah.
Stuff that did get revealed. I want to give a shout out to Harmonium, which was this wonderful looking
Musical platformer.
Yeah, with the
right,
deaf
okay.
protagonist,
Right,
and like, you know what? I don't know a goddamn thing about how this game plays. I assume it's like a retro adventure game because it's The Odd Gentleman, and that's what they're mostly known for working in that genre. But like, it just looks, it's incredibly fucking charming. Right. And in the midst of talking about all of our big turbo nerd fucking giant franchise shit, it is cool to see like small earnest titles, you know, get that kind of stage. It's one of the few things I really have to give it to Jeff Keighley, is that they do always make sure that there's quite a few of these much smaller titles that get to share the stage.
That Donut game.
If we
Yo,
have to
the
give
Don't
Jeff
Nod
Keighley
game.
one thing, I guess it'll be that.
I don't think of anything.
Yeah. What was the Don't Nod game called again? It was,
It's like that '90s one. Was it called? Like
Lost Records, right?
Yes,
Lots
yes,
Something like
that's
that.
it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just
That's cool.
it's just fucking teenage lesbians in the 90s. Something happens and we're gonna find out about it after the fact. I don't know.
Like, I'm
It's
down. Like,
Don't
it's like,
Nod
cool.
making a
We got
very
some-
gay game. I'm in.
Even-
Don't Nod has a
stuff-
formula though, so
Yeah.
like
Even what is it? Even like stuff that we've known about, like Rise of Ronin, as much as
Yeah.
disappointed as I am that it's a roguelike, not a roguelike, Souls like, it still looks cool, right? It's like, even I'm trying to think, like even like the abundance of like sci-fi shooters doesn't take away from like the cool stuff that got announced.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Windblown, the new game from the Dead Cells team.
Oh,
that 3D
hell.
roguelike. I think it looks
The
really,
glove one,
really.
right?
Yeah, with the weird
It's
little
not my
furry
thing,
buddies.
but I'm glad it's there.
The axolotl boy. Look, man, it's like an action roguelike. I kind of have to try it. Like I have to. So, like these are all so like I'm in like Death's Door. Like you had me. You know what I mean? It's Dead Cells. Dead Cells was so good.
We didn't see any. There was no Vin Diesel. No.
Thank
Arc 2,
fucking God.
No,
Was a
Who won
letdown.
bingo? Did anyone win bingo?
I didn't do bingo, and I should have.
I didn't do
won.
the bingo.
I win.
Yeah.
You got it. What did you mark it? Did you mark it? Like I need you to
Yeah,
show me your card.
I will show you after this.
Please. Oh my God. All my hard work is validated.
So it is important. I think it's important to point out who wasn't there showing any games. And that was Nintendo.
Yeah, that
which
was
is
unusual.
Which is a break for them.
Weird. Like
They always have something.
Right. Whether it's DLC or like a game, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even
I mean,
that
when
they
they had a big
spin
Zelda
off.
trailer. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Smash
No,
reveals happened at
Yeah.
I mean,
Nintendo was not there at all. So
Spoiler alert, they're bundling up for a big presentation next year. For
they have a
Yeah.
very big presentation and some shit to reveal coming up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you
They're
know.
gonna. Well, what's gonna happen is that they're in January. We're gonna get a direct, and they're gonna announce the Switch 2, whatever the fuck they're gonna call it.
Everyone who just bought a Nitro deck will be pissed.
And it'll come out a lot sooner than anyone thinks it will.
Yeah. That
Because-
motherfucker's hitting in summer. Watch.
Yeah. That or spring, because I mean the time between the announcement of
We'll
the
see.
time between the
I
announcement
think
of the Switch
summer.
and the release was like 4 months.
So either if it comes out in spring, then I can't go to PAX. I'll be paying for a Switch suit. Don't
You
play
don't
with me.
listen. The fact that PAX is happening like as Dragon's Dogma 2 launches, like
Or
Dragon's Dogma
Derek.
2 launches while I'm in Boston.
Oh, that sucks. You're in Boston.
Yeah, I did fucking suck my whole dick. The fact that I'm choosing to still do PAX is really like
that
that's
was
how much I love
literally
fuckers.
me at PAX East this year for Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I feel like Nintendo's absence was notable, and we all know it's because, like Sam said, they are keeping their powder dry for a massive direct that we're going to see in January, where we're going to see the Switch 2. We're going to see a bunch of launch titles. I am sure that you're going to see like a 3D Mario or something.
Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
Samus.
Metroid Prime
It's
4,
time, girl.
probably,
It's
yeah.
finally time.
Yeah. And which I think will be a cross-gen game, Sam, personally.
Probably. It wouldn't shock me if they've just moved it entirely to the new one. It wouldn't like
It better
shock
not.
me, but
But yeah, no, this is absolutely. They were not there for a very particular reason, Sam. And I mean, the writing's on the wall here, right? Like it's time.
Oh yeah.
And I'm willing to bet that direct is coming in January, Sam. What do you think?
January or February. They could do February, and like I mean, that's at a certain point that's a distinction without a difference. The last week of January, the first week of February, like it doesn't matter. But it'll be early. It'll be early.
Here's my one question, and then we'll move on to the other aspect of the Game Awards. Will it be backwards compatible, Sam?
I think so. You know, like I've doomed and gloomed about that in Discord and had fun with that. In all seriousness, I think even Nintendo understands they can't do what they've done.
It's suicide. It's like
it would be destruction. Even Nintendo understands that they'd just be throwing away.
Right, because it's
the
like
last 7 years.
This is what their biggest success since the Wii. This is basically the Wii 2 in terms of impact,
I mean,
right?
this is more successful than the Wii.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
It's like the Wii, and they were banking on the Wii U being that, right? They're like, okay, it's the Wii but better. You can play Wii games, all your accessories work. We just added a bunch of new features. Didn't work pan out for them, so they went back to the drawing board. They basically have another Wii on their hands.
Yep.
If they fuck up anything ever so slight, they're gonna call this the Switch 2. They're gonna save themselves some trouble. Do you know what I'm saying?
They need to call it the Super Nintendo Switch.
No, because then
Like a Switch Advance. Or
that's the
something.
Wii U problem. They're gonna shoot themselves in the foot. They just call it the GameCube 2. They just call it-
Heck yeah.
Oh.
I think they'll do the smart, correct thing here. Also, they have No, the writing is on the wall. They will see the trends. They've seen how things have worked out. They'll doesn't mean they aren't going to sell like some remastered games. Like you better believe they're going to be selling a version of Tears of the Kingdom that's like 60 FPS, and that's the only difference. You better believe it. But nah, they'll have backward compatibility.
So let's talk about what we didn't see at the Game Awards, and that is acceptance speeches. We didn't see a whole lot of acceptance speeches at the Game Awards because they were given about maybe 30 seconds to talk.
They were given 30 seconds before they started playing the like wrap it up music.
Well, Derek, let's point out we're just talking about the awards that were not handed off in little like
right.
oh by the way blah 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 here.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm sorry, even if like best RPG just
It's
being relegated to like, oh yeah, by the way, here's the winner. It's like, guys,
in a year where like one of the games nominated for your award is an RPG, in a year where a mainline Final Fantasy game came out, you're going to relegate this to a whatever.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Multiple people, awards winners who did not speak English as their first language or at all, being told to wrap it up within 30 seconds. Somebody who's
talking about their team member dying was told to wrap it up in 30 seconds.
A woman was played off.
Remember when the I don't remember who they were, but yeah, like the one guy finished what he was saying, then the woman goes to the mic and immediately they play off. And
Jeff Keighley, you hate women. It's official.
Well, yes,
it is right there.
Fucking.
It is right there. If you are a woman or a POC, you are not safe around Mr. Keighley's stage.
Hey, Kojima's not white.
That's true. Yeah,
so
everyone has a token. You guys have me. He has Kojima. So
somebody has. Let's be fair. Finn's our token. Somebody calculated all of the actual time like that awards like acceptance got, and it was 11 minutes, and I'm pretty sure Kojima got more time than that just to come out and talk about his animated gifs of Sophia Lillis and Hunter Schafer. Like,
I am so tired of fucking Jeff Keighley's massive Kojima boner.
At the expense of again, like it's
at the expense
that respect
of winners. At the
does
expense
not
of
go
people,
to everyone else, right?
Right. Yeah,
again, talk about the
way,
future class.
My friend Jackie in chat.
Yeah, but like again, let's talk about the future class, right? These are people who like
where was the future class?
Keighley, right? Like made this big deal in past years about the future class is like these are the future of the industry. Look, like we're gonna promote diversity. Like and what it is he wanted like good boy points, right? He wanted to use that as a shield from criticism
behind the fucking boom.
Right, and then like, and I'm telling you. I am not convinced that is not retaliation for the fucking letter. Because of course, as many of you know, close to half, it might have been over half of the future class, again, people who were selected by the Game Awards, right, as the future of the industry, signed this letter that really, really wanted Keighley and the Game Awards to acknowledge Palestine the way that previously, like the war in Ukraine had been acknowledged. The only acknowledgement they got, hilariously, is Keighley did pop back into the Future Class Discord for the first time in over a year, only to post a 2-second audio clip of pure silence and then dip again. So, like, it's probably not on purpose, but it looks so fucking bad that's what it looks like to a lot of folks.
Well, so here's the other thing that you got to consider, and yeah, like I'm gonna like pivot back to Kojima for a minute because there's a metaphor here, right? You've got a developer walking in literally with like a fucking WWE entrance, right? Like the door opens, there's light pouring out. It's like you see Kojima's outline. It's literally like he's ascending from the heavens.
You'd be mistaken for thinking Kojima invented the video game.
In a fucking year where 10,000 developers have lost their jobs.
Not a single line, not one sentence about the layoffs.
And we are bending the knee and worshiping one man
Most famous for not like for getting fired and managing to come back, right? Like
That's
he
another
is like
thing. Look at the sheer amount of time Keighley had previously spent on Kojima getting fired from Konami. One man getting fired from a company over a game that went massively over budget and past its deadlines.
So like what is it? So here's the thing, right? Whatever. The initial like 2 years pre Death Stranding makes sense. Whatever. We were all upset about Kojima getting fired, right? It was a bad situation. Whatever. Keighley was like the biggest name to say like, yo, Konami screwed up, right? It was like him and Del Toro going back and forth. Sure. And then it gets tiring out when it's like every single year we get this really, really weird and misplaced worship when there are people who are literally at your award show there to receive awards, there to like, kind of keep this thing alive, who are like, struggling. Like, what is it? In just during the week alone of like the Game Awards, wasn't there another closure or another group of layoffs?
There were probably several.
Today.
And Bracer keeps fucking striking. Yeah. But like,
and
we have not only have all these like indie devs at the Game Awards who need the platform, right? And need the opportunity to speak, need the opportunity to tell their stories in a way that Kojima does not, because Kojima has such a fucking name that he does not need that level of promotion for free.
He doesn't.
But again, that's not to say he can't have it, but like there's other people who need that if we're talking about need. And if we're talking about importance, why are names in the industry like Eiji Aonuma and Sam Lake getting fucking like shepherds hooked off the stage after 30 seconds when they don't even speak English as their first language?
Those are names. One of them had a fucking interpreter with him on stage.
Yeah. Eiji Aonuma is more the man behind Zelda than Miyamoto at this point. You're telling the man behind Zelda, get the fuck out of here. Gonzo has to fuck a chicken.
Like, I know that, by the way, what the fuck was Gonzo there? Like, I thought
there's
he was
been a
actually
Muppet thing at every one of these because I think Jeff Keighley just liked the Muppets growing up, and who amongst us didn't?
I would probably do the same thing. So
no, but here's the thing: it's only funny when they're there to like interrupt or like talk over an important category, like Games for Change or something. Now it's just embarrassing.
That's why Animal worked, right? Exactly.
It was funnier when like Beaker was there when like fucking like the Games for Impact like award was being given because it's so wildly inappropriate. Now it's just like taking time.
Next year, the Game Awards, we're gonna see Overcooked 3 announced, and the fucking Swedish chef is gonna come out and go girdle, girdle, girdle.
No, that makes too much sense.
That's actually a good idea.
That makes too much sense. When we're gonna have a Muppet talk over a woman for like 3 minutes straight.
Heck yeah.
I will. There we go. That's like, Kojima's thing.
So I think this is a sentiment that I saw. Just being sorry, I'm looking at the Gonzo fucks chickens.
He does.
Stuff
He does fuck a chicken.
This is a sentiment that I share, and it's a sentiment that I saw being passed around, the night of and a couple days after the Game Awards, and that just call it Winter E3 and stop giving fucking awards. What's the point?
Yeah. DICE exists.
If you are not going to, if you're not going to respect the process enough or respect the devs enough, then drop the fucking charade and just do Winter E3 and let someone else do an actual fucking award show where people can sit there and we actually celebrate people in the industry. We celebrate the people who make these games. We don't take massive fucking categories like best multiplayer game and best RPG and shunt them off to like either off camera to like essentially off camera wins.
Not accessibility in the pre-show.
Right.
Accessibility in the pre-show. Like, what is that?
So
what is that?
And like it's also, and like, okay, so I'm going to tie into something that's being talked about in chat, but like the worship for Hollywood at every one of these events is really frustrating.
Oh my God. Here's the thing. Okay. Here's my thing.
I do want to briefly defend Anthony Mackie, who we were all making fun of in the moment for seeming like an actual crazy person. But I have since heard from people who were at the event that like we could not hear on the stream how insane that crowd was to him. He was, because they're not mic'd up. You can't hear them on the fucking microphones. Mm-hmm. But he basically was dealing with just like hordes of people like screaming his own quotes back. Like it was, he walked into what was maybe one of the most aggressive and unruly crowds he'd ever dealt with.
Right, and the whole crowd was screaming on your left, on your left,
just shit like that to him.
Yeah.
So like he was actually like, people who were there who have talked about it have said like he handled that about as well as a human being could have, and he was done dirty by the stream making it seem like he was talking to a quiet crowd and yelling at ghosts. But no, like why is Timothy fucking Chalamet I get that he had an Xbox controller modding YouTube channel one time.
Xbox is 10 years ago, Derek.
Yeah, that
Here's
doesn't
my thing.
matter.
And it's an annoyance because look, we had fucking Tribeca doing some weird gaming thing. Here's my thing. Video games can never be respected as an art form if they're trying their hardest to legit. It's the same problem Marvel fans have had with the art with these art house directors criticizing them. You already have everything you could possibly want. You have acclaim, you have money, you have like you're at the top of the zeitgeist. Video games are at that point too. Everyone's fucking playing
Stop
Fortnite.
chasing approval from a completely different artistic avenue.
Stop
and
it.
Just do your shit.
Look, Idris Elba didn't show up to your fucking
he doesn't fucking need to because he doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't care. He's doing important shit.
He could not give a shit.
Everyone there looked like they were forced to be there. The only one who looked genuinely excited was fucking Simu Liu, but he's not a real fucking movie star. Of course he's gonna fucking be excited to show up to this goddamn like Mickey Mouse thing. People finally want to recognize him. It's ridiculous that Jeff wants to capture this. You know what? He wants to be the Oscars of like game award shows. He's already there. The Oscars mean jack shit because they're all terrible. You got to that point. You're just now trying to throw in some weird Hollywood, jerking off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Derek, can I really quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like the most frustrating thing to me about everything you said, because you're correct. You're 100% correct, CJ. Make no mistake. But the big thing to me that frustrates even further is the Game Awards can have a unique DNA. You know what you would never see at the Oscars is everyone from Remedy and Sam Lake dancing to
that was a great fucking moment.
That's incredible. Lean into that. That is something that only the Game Awards could provide as a show, and it is fun. It's entertaining. Yes. It's a really cool moment for them, but also it directly ties into, hey, Alan Wake 2, you want to talk about an art house game? Alan Wake 2 is an art house game. Right? It's kind of incredible that it got made. Exactly. Celebrate that. That is worthy of just taking a few minutes to be indulgent. Even stuff like High Lung, just a very, very different band. They're not like a mainstream group or anything.
That was cool. That was cool
playing in the music for Hellblade 2, premiering one of the songs for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Like you can have these big entertaining moments, but you need to find the DNA. Exactly.
Don't be ashamed of what you are. Look, Roger Ebert's dead. He can't hurt you by saying games aren't art anymore. What are you guys fucking afraid of?
Yeah. We do not need Hollywood actors to like several of them per show to try to lend credibility to the medium of video games. Like
it's
gaming
the highest grossing medium in the entire world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and regardless of the money talk, right? Gaming has its own artists, its own auteurs, its own celebrities. Matt fucking Mercer came out for part of this, and Mercer is legitimately a celebrity at this point. He comes from gaming and anime, but gaming.
But
right?
To your point, Kojima is the example of this.
Why was
Sam Lake, Kojima, Sam Lake, Anuma, all these guys are the auteur. Ed Boon,
literally gaming
all
royalty.
these guys are the auteurs.
If Kojima was selected to give the Game of the Year award, you would have heard nothing from me, despite how I feel about that man and especially about his relationship with Jeff. I'd be like, that's a gaming celebrity here to give out Game of the Year. That makes sense to me.
Why the fuck is Timothy Chalamet here?
That Wonka money, bro.
Here's the thing.
Where's Gabe Newell? Where's Reggie? You know what I mean?
They couldn't get Gabe Newell.
No, you couldn't get Gabe for anything. But
I'm gonna drop some knowledge on you guys. The Game Awards are not about video games.
No, it is about Jeff making Hollywood connections, raising his profile, making advertising money, making connections. It is purely a Jeff serving vehicle.
I don't think that's how it started for him, but that's what it's become.
I think that was always the goal.
No, it's always because look, he did this to spite and Spike and G4, whatever, right? It's all him. G4, everything, and good on him because they fucking suck. But it's everything. Think about it. E3. He had a big part in that, during its inception. Obviously, now it's falling apart, so now it's his chance to kind of pounce on that.
As E3 was dying, he took the opportunity to take hot shots at them, and now E3 is dead for good.
So think about it like this: Jeff Keighley now is the shorthand for everything game related and as far as media, right? Everything with announcements and things.
Terrible host.
100. The lack of charisma this man emits. He needs to be holding a bag of Doritos for anything to come out of his mouth to be interesting. 100%. Jeff Keighley needs to change this up, or maybe don't do it at all. If we all ignore it, it'll probably disappear.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen because
I mean, I don't think we're doing the Game Awards anymore. Like, I don't think I can in good. I don't think we can.
I've done it twice with you guys
anymore.
I've done it twice with you guys. Sam, I love you.
We say
so
that
much.
now, but we'll probably
I don't
do
know,
it next
man.
year.
Oh, man.
We'll probably do a reaction to it, but like, man, I
After.
just can't. You know, this is first. These are brutal to sit through, dude.
I watched the Oscars for the first time in like a decade with my friends, like last year, and I wanted to kill myself. How do you think I felt watching the Game Awards?
Yeah.
Truly, for the second time in a
It's
row.
one thing if Keighley doesn't want to talk about Palestine, which, like, again, like that stuff's important to me. But I get, like, you want to make the argument, this is the shit that we're here for, whatever. But like, dude couldn't even talk about the layoffs, man.
The layoffs
like,
is the thing to me.
Dude couldn't even give the people who won the awards, who made all of these games, like time on stage because his boyfriend needed to come up and talk about, a fucking dream he had, like. It's
and like I get it. Yeah, I get it. 8 minutes, Christopher Judge. I know you set a record that was unacceptable last year. Like, okay, I'll be fair and say that. Like, sure, there is a balance between 8 minutes and 30
seconds. There's in between.
There's a midpoint.
Jeff Keighley. They have averages in Canada. You can find a middle point.
Or what you could do is stop shoving a ton of Game Award or game announcements in there and just actually run this as a
if
no
we'd had
bullshit
fewer
award
sketches,
show, which I would fucking watch.
If we didn't give
watch
5 minutes to
award
Anthony
show.
Mackie and we didn't give 2 minutes to Gonzo and we had a fewer announcements, and we didn't have ad breaks, which of course is never going to fucking happen.
Like, dude, do a two-parter. Do an announcement show and then do an actual fucking award show like the next day or something. I would watch both. I'd watch both.
And that's the sin, is it's trying to be both. It's trying to be the reveals and trying to be the awards, and that's
the Oscars aren't that.
Right.
The Oscars aren't that. So he's
the
not,
reason you don't get Marvel
fundamentally-
trailers at the fucking Oscars. Like,
Dude, I would kill myself.
It's
I'm not
probably
even
fucking
kidding.
late now because people expect announcements at the
And
end.
everyone, you always hear like, oh, I only watch this for the reveals and stuff. And I'm like, what? Then you don't care about. You know what I'm saying? You just want to.
You're
gonna
get trailers as soon as it's done, so it doesn't actually matter. Like, it's hard because like the Dice
I don't know
Awards.
about you guys. I would sit down and actually watch an hour and a half, 2 hour fucking award show with fucking awards.
The hard part is like that's the Dice Awards, right? And as Greg Miller pointed out, nobody fucking watches them.
Yep, I don't want to give props to him, but yeah, true.
I mean, complicated feelings about Greg Miller. You know, he's not a bad guy.
But but it's true.
But he's correct. They put on a show that is about and for and like highlighting the developers, and nobody fucking tunes in. So like people need to put their money where their mouth is and watch award shows and care about. And I've been so happy to see so many different media outlets like give voice to award winners and nominees alike after the Game Awards. Reb did a fantastic piece.
Excellent piece.
Excellent fucking piece.
Of the awards winners who didn't even get a chance to, get on stage.
And you could reading that article is a very gentle but very stinging rebuke at Jeff Keighley.
It is. I think also like look at the number of, the fact that like the guy from Larian, right, had to make a Twitter thread about what his speech would have been if he got to give it. Like, and that's the dude who won Game of the fucking Year.
That's fucking nuts.
And it's like I do think that the press, not just the press and like the enthusiast reaction, but the regular reaction coming out of this is like, it's bad for Jeff Keighley. I know regular ass people who don't have a Twitter account, right? Who are free from the hell. Regular ass people at work who were talking about how bad the Game Awards were, and talking about people not getting to give their speeches. Like, that's not good, dude. When Facebook normies are talking about this shit, it's not good.
Do we think, so that he got a ton of negative feedback from his peers in the industry? You know he did.
Yeah, for sure.
Do we think this changes next year?
Next year, everyone's going to get a minute. They're going to get a minute, but like part of the reason they got 30 seconds in the first place was to stop them from having the opportunity to talk about any of the things they didn't want them to talk about. And when confronted on it, Keighley like blamed like, oh, I think it was like an operator error.
Oh my
and like
God.
bullshit it was.
That's the worst part
Because
you throw your
everything
fucking team under the bus
Because
to avoid
anybody who's
any
ever worked a special event, ever worked in broadcast, ever worked any of that, like, bro, your show went off exactly to the rundown. You ended at 11 p.m. Eastern, like exactly. You
and it
did
has gone
perfect.
over in the past,
Mhm.
by the way.
You nailed it, which means that you accounted for 30 seconds on each of these motherfuckers.
Right.
You know? So, yeah, no, this was a plan. And, like, Keely, you're a fucking scumbag for lying about that shit and trying to pretend it was, it was horse. Like, and that's the thing is the fact that he's willing to lie about that shit. The fact that, like, the future class, again, as Arrow pointed out, got put behind a fucking camera jib and also got
can't fucking believe that.
way lower presence this year in terms of, like, talking about the future class than any previous year. That plus, like, dude, let's go ahead and put this on the table. We have personal experience with Keely being shitty in John's DMs because of reasonable criticism of how Summer Games Fest handled freelance journalists. And Keely came in acting like he was your fucking boss.
About that publicly.
We haven't, but it doesn't matter. Keely was in your DMs trying to act like you were his fucking secretary and needed to give him evidence and shit over
I
like
need this by 9
regular
PM.
criticism.
I'm like, fuck off.
So, like,
Jeff.
I'm just of
Like,
the
I'm not
opinion
your
that maybe
fucking-
Jeff Keely is a shitty human being, right? Whose
I'm not your
entire
fucking
existence
secretary,
is
dude.
aligned with corporate power and corporate, like, capital. And, like, of course he didn't want to say anything about 10,000 layoffs in the gaming industry because he's on the side of the people doing the layoffs, right? Keely sucks shit. And it's he both in terms of where he stands as a person with capital and political power within the industry, but also just as a human being. He's a sucky person. He's shitty. He's petty. We know he's a petty person. We've heard stories from other journalists about him being personally petty with them, right?
Fuck it, I'm going to post the DMs.
So of course it doesn't fucking surprise me. Like, that's why I can believe that the future class got put behind the jib as a punishment, because
I'm posting
know,
the DMs, Derek.
Fine,
I'm posting the DMs.
fine. We know that Keely sucks and he's a bad person. So, like, it's really sad that E3 is gone, because, like, there were problems with the ESA, but E3 was what it was and didn't pretend to be anything else and didn't pretend to be any better than an opportunity for, like, developers and publishers to show off their games.
Oh, it was. Even the worst part, even the worst of it, man. Fucking
Yeah. And Keely wants to pretend to have an awards show that is actually, like, advertisements, but even that is actually just a front for, like, him and his personal agenda to gain, like, connections and further political power and to highlight these specific people who have cozied up to him. So, like,
he's the ambassador of video games.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
that's what he's done. So suck my dick from the back, Keely. This industry would be better without you, and you are single-handedly, like, a representation in one human body of the cancer that is destroying this industry from within. He is every single facet of it wrapped into one human being. He is the kind of person performing all of the layoffs, right? He is the kind of person who, like, engages shitty fandoms against criticism. Like, he's all of it in one human being, and I want him gone. And it sucks that he's here to fucking stay.
And speaking of that, like, we don't have much time to talk about it, but it sucks, like, you know, for as shitty as the ESA is, like, it sucks that E3 is gone, and it sucks that this is what we have to replace it. You know, like, this is our E3 replacement for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
And that just sucks.
And the problem is, like, we can all sit here and talk shit, but, like, you know, I saw a lot. Here's the thing. I saw a lot of people who have the same anger and frustration as I have, but who also kind of tried to engage a little bit in, like, the finger pointing at people for supporting it. But it's like all of the most progressive, most socially engaged, most doing good motherfuckers in the industry I know went to the Game Awards. So, like, we're not in a position where we could, like, if we're going to do some finger pointing, the problem is there's nobody, like, left afterwards. You know what I mean? Like, everybody went to Summer Games Fest because you kind of don't have a choice not to. If you want to network, if you want to actually, like, do your job.
I didn't, but I'm freelance.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's a rarity if you can.
You're
So.
specifically the type of person that wasn't gonna be there.
It's like telling people to just quit their job if they don't like it, right? Like, it's hard when the thing that you dislike is tied to Like, I could bitch about child labor and I still own shoes. Ooh, you know what I mean? Like, I can't divorce myself from the situation.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all, Derek. I think you've hit the nail on the head. The only thing I am going to very, very, very
Sure.
gently put out there, with as much love for my colleagues as I can, is some outlets are on the voting jury and some aren't.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm just
and
putting
I
that
would
out
like
there
to see
very
the
politely.
outlets. I
Chew
would
on it.
love to see the outlets take a bigger stand about this shit. But you know, again,
many
the
have,
outlets are
and many
corporations. That's the problem, is the outlets are corporations in the end.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, fuck.
Well,
So see you guys this time next year.
Next Game Awards. Next Game Awards,
We'll see you
baby.
before then, bud. But
all right. Well, we'll go ahead and cut it off here. We'll be back next week. We got a big year coming up in 2024. We will be returning to PAX East next year. It's I was here this year, but this is the big podcast return.
yeah, like 6 of us are going to be there. Holy shit.
Yeah. And we may or may not have a panel for you guys.
I submitted for one. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. I'm hearing good things, Derek. I'm
Well,
hearing
that's
good
good to
things. Derek, do you want to tell people what the topic of our panel will be if it gets approved?
We'll wait for the approval.
You want to
I
wait?
think. Let's wait.
All right, we'll wait on that. But we will be there. Some of us have already gotten our media pass approvals, and I'm sure that others on the team will as well.
I hope so.
So yeah. Please look for, as Square Enix would say, please be excited about that. Please look forward to that. And Sam, thanks, buddy. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, anytime. Say the word, and assuming I'm not knocked out or drunk. Actually, you know what? Even if I'm drunk, I'll be here.
Yeah, no, that's when I really want you on here is when you're drunk.
Exactly.
I'm still
All
here.
right, everyone, take care of each other, and remember that kindness costs nothing. We'll see you next week.
Peace out. Play The Witcher 3.